fuck up. It's time to talk business. Jared Taylor, Matt Best, and Evan Hafer proudly present Blackhearted. Sponsored by BlackRifle Coffee Company and Arson Wave.
Well, what's up, everybody? We're finally back in Salt Lake City, which I would say I'm happy for. I'm happy to be home, but fucking the snow. Holy shit. This morning, Brandon, it snowed like shit last night, and all I have is my car. Good thing there's snow tires on it. I've got two special guests today. I got Mr. Brandon Despain. He is one of the masterminds behind that BlackRifle Ford Focus ST that you have seen. They've done all the work on it. And then I've got another one. Ian, do we want to say your last name? Is that okay?
Yeah, definitely.
We have a lot of secret people on. What's your last name?
No secret. Armstrong.
Armstrong. There we go. Ian Armstrong from Cobb Performance or Cobb Engineering.
Cobb Tuning.
Cobb Tuning.
Yes.
All right. Well, so today we're going to talk about essentially business in the motorsports world. Like, Cobb has a very interesting story. How long have you been with him?
So I've been with Cobb for almost 6 years now.
Holy shit. So you were there for the sell.
Yeah.
And pre-sell and everything like that. And then you've been working with Cobb for how long?
6 or 7 years.
Yeah. Wow. So it's like you guys kind of lined that up right there. Because you guys started Subaru tuning, correct?
We did. We started doing that and modding them, 10 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was the market like back then?
It was slow. I mean, every year it's progressed and got better, but that was kind of the start of the speed stuff.
You said 10 years, so like 2007-ish?
Yeah.
Because wasn't there like an influx around 2002 when the first Fast and Furious came out and then everybody went? Or was that like Subarus weren't part of that group yet?
They really weren't. And 2002 was the release of the WRX. It was the first real turboed model Subaru put out here in the States. So that's when they kind of grabbed attention. Everybody was modding Hondas and stuff. So.
Oh wow! Well, so what's your history straight up, like all the way back to the beginning?
Yeah. So I was super into Subarus my whole entire life.
Yeah.
And I was on the Subaru forums growing up in high school. Always checking those out.
We talked about this a couple of podcasts earlier about how forums were the place to go back in the day.
And they're dead now.
Yeah, I know. They don't exist because I remember I was on when I was like 17, I was on DC2 Integra. Like because I wanted a DC2 Integra.
Oh yeah. It's cool when you have that low member number on a forum and then you're like, "Oh yeah, look, it's only 4 digits." And then other people are like, "Well, I don't even use a forum."
And that post count back when like
the post
that
count
meant like and
you get those title changes.
Yeah, and we were talking about how it bred this power in the subculture like there was back in like 2007, 2008. You would go to meets, you would go different places and you'd be like, "Oh man, that's Archbishop 69 6012. Like, oh man, that's a guy on the forum that knows everything."
Oh yeah, you gotta love those forum guys.
Or the asshole. Oh, that's that prick that's always fucking with everybody.
Yeah, I may have been one of those.
So what was your first car then?
So first car was a Ford Ranger, but 5-speed.
I had a Chevy Blazer 5-speed too. That was my first car.
Yeah, so learned the manual transmission. Yeah. Had tons of fun, spin the wheels as a little 2-wheel drive truck. Like you're just spinning the wheels everywhere, And then I got a WRX when they first came out in 2002. And so I'd always been a fan of the 2.5 RS. That was something that Cobb initially supported, was that car. So it's sort of the first tuner Subaru in the U.S.
Right.
And that was front-wheel drive, right?
All-wheel drive.
All-wheel drive was a 2.5. Oh, wow.
Yeah, 2.5 RS. There's, you can get like a 2-wheel drive Impreza.
Back in the day, it was like the Mitsubishi 3000 GT. Those were, and then your GSX, your Eclipse GSX.
Oh yeah,
like those were your all-wheel drive was nothing to anybody back then.
No, but Subaru's been doing it for so long. After '96, even their base models were all-wheel drive.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so definitely Cobb is really started with the Subaru niche, that 2.5 RS, and that's really where they grew and where I first heard of them. They made had a really cool intake design. So instead of having a cone filter on the end of a stick, it was an inline filter, and nobody else was doing anything like that. So it was all integrated into the intake system.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so when everybody's looking at that, it's like, oh, yeah, get Cobb. And so I grew up thinking, oh, Cobb is so cool. I got to have that stuff. And I got one of the version 1 access ports for my WRX when they first came out. That was 2004.
Yeah. Well, moving forward, you had a 2.5 RS first, right?
No, so I went straight from the Ford Ranger to the WRX.
All right, WRX. So now you have an all-wheel drive turbo car.
Correct, and it's awesome.
Okay.
And I was living in Colorado at the time, so
nice.
it's perfect.
Denver?
There, yeah, and Boulder.
Oh,
Went to
Boulder,
school in Boulder.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were just up there for Freedom Fest.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I mean, tough to beat Boulder, right?
Well, it's full of hipsters, Ian.
Well,
it's full of hipsters.
I think everywhere is full of hipsters. I live in Austin now. So
oh, God.
You want to talk about hipsters?
You're right. At least they're gun-carrying hipsters down there.
I know. I was like, I'm coming to visit BlackRifle, so I'm going to wear my loose, baggy jeans.
Oh, man. So, all right. So, WRX, well, your first parts were the intake?
So as a forum guru, I already knew the proper modification path, and I knew I needed to tune the car. And so the access port, so originally Cobb started with you would mail them your ECU. They would flash it and mail it back to you, and that's how tune flashing works.
Actually, yeah, I remember that now because, like, how expensive it was to get an AEM. What was it? The AEM ECU with because I was a Honda. I started with the Hondas.
Oh yeah, the Apexi units.
I think everybody started with Hondas.
The Apex I air to fuel controller, which again, it's like, why? If you're running an NA fucking 4-cylinder that has 140 horsepower and you need to know what your air to fuel ratio is, that doesn't make much sense.
Flashing lights. You gotta have flashing lights.
Oh my God, I did it all. I had the windshield wiper LEDs.
Hey, admitting it. That's hard.
So my buddy in college had a WRX, and I was like, oh, my girlfriend at the time had a truck. And he's like, oh, I need to borrow the truck. And I was like, all right, we'll just swap cars out. And while I had his WRX, we went to AutoZone and got those LED windshield nozzles, installed them on his car, and he picked it up in the afternoon. He's driving home, the lights come on, and he's like, what is that on the hood?
What
he didn't.
Fuck?
Yeah, he was super excited
That
for
is
those.
so awesome. I couldn't afford side skirts, so I made them out of rain gutters. I got to show you a picture of this. This was a Honda Accord hatchback.
Rain gutters.
Well, it's still popular. You get that garage trim to make your own lip kit now. That's what everybody does.
All right, so you flashed your ECU.
Yeah, flash these. So I waited until the version 1 access port came out. And so that was the first handheld tuning device for Japanese cars. So super innovative at the time. Yeah. You look at them now, we still have them around the office. Looks like an old Game Boy or something. Had the green screen on it, just a huge
bloop,
black box.
Bloop,
we
bloop.
Still keep one in the case at the shop.
Oh, yeah.
Put those next to the V3s, show how far you guys have come.
We still have them around the shop, but people hate looking at them because of the problems they got. And it's crazy to think now, that's 2004 when those came out. That was over 10
years ago.
Yeah. And then Cobb started in 1999. I was talking to one of the guys in his shop, said in 2 years, Cobb is going to be 20 years old.
Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
insane.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's super badass.
That's awesome. And I mean, the fact, too, that you were a fan and appreciated the brand, and now you're a C-level guy over there. Like, come on. That's awesome.
Yeah, so definitely it's been a fun adventure for sure. I mean, there's not many times you can say, like, you grew up loving a brand, you get to be a part of that brand and work there and have a career. I mean, it's
I feel like
cool.
that. I felt like that twice. Once when I was talking to the guy that created Zoo York, like, dude, like, wow. And he was like impressed with what we had done, and I'm like, bro, like, come on, man, I own so much of your clothes. And then, like, hanging out with Bucky Lasik for a weekend and him driving my car and stuff like that. It's like,
Bucky's awesome.
Hi.
I rode around the track when the 2015 STIs first came out. Subaru invited us to Laguna Seca.
Yeah.
Got to ride in the track with Bucky around that.
Oh shit! You got a track ride.
So cool. Oh
Him
my
and I
God.
just drove to the Guitar Center to pick up some supplies.
Yeah.
But it was still fun. He was giving me lessons the whole time of different things to do. It was a blast.
Oh yeah,
Like,
it was on.
you've seen his new car now, right?
Yeah.
I think he's fucking smoking hot.
Yeah, so we've been helping him out a little bit on
Awesome.
that new STI. We helped him out with his old one too. So
I'm glad he got that new one rolling because he was just talking about back in October about getting back to the shop and getting it.
Yeah, super cool.
So yeah, how did you apply for Cobb? How did this even come to anything?
So I went to school for mechanical engineering.
Okay.
And during school, I saw they had an internship here in Salt Lake. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. I'm going to apply for that. Never heard back from them. I was like, oh, that's a bummer. So finished, got my degree, went and did some other work, did like construction management kind of stuff. And then the downturn in the economy, got laid off and said, I'm just going to move to Colorado and hang out for a while, go snowboarding, biking. And while I was there was a job posting for customer service. I'm like, that sounds super cool. I'm going to apply. Maybe it's a low-level job, can see what happens. Applied and talked to Trey, and at the time, it didn't work out.
He's the owner.
Yeah, so he's the owner, yeah.
At the time, he was the owner. So you talked directly to him, huh?
Yeah, and so when I first started, Cobb's about 40, maybe 50 people, and we're just over 80 people now.
Oh, wow.
And so at the time, it's Trey is kind of running everything, and so he's in charge of customer service, mostly because it's a super important part of what Cobb is.
Nobody will take care of your brand but you. Like
Exactly.
Nobody has that interest. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
and that goes into a big part of how we hire here at BlackRifle is we hire the people that have expressed, what we say would bleed for the company. It's like, dude, why put an ad on the street when we've got a guy that's saying, I will move to Salt Lake City if you let me work for you? Absolutely, brother. Fucking get in the truck. You're hired.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I'm hiring a bunch of people right now, and we'll put a job post up on LinkedIn just to try to get more spread. And people just apply to jobs. Every single job that gets posted on LinkedIn, there are people that apply to all of them.
Dude, we need to get you into Drinking Bros, and you tell the Drinking Bros Austin group.
Oh, there you go.
That you need. Drinking Bros Austin is 2,000 people, and they all mostly have fire, police, or military background for the majority of it. So you're getting a pretty good product.
Yeah, definitely. That sounds super solid.
I'll introduce you to those
All
guys
right.
because A, they will show up, and B, if they don't know how to do it, give them about 6 hours. They'll figure it out with some tape and some scissors.
Yeah. And that's the thing is we get these resumes and they don't mention anything about cars, that they think the company is cool. It's like, dude, why would I just
Oh my
immediately
God.
delete
If I was
them.
going to apply to Cobb, you would have a 4-page cover letter. Like,
Yeah.
This is the first time I touched one of your intakes. This is the second time I touched. Here's a cell phone picture of me touching the intake physically.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so when I applied to Cobb, I had a super curated cover letter. I made sure I was talking about Cobb, how much I love Subarus.
The first time
I
you ever
love
bought
this
anything
company.
from them. Like,
Exactly.
Because that's a big thing too. Like,
Yeah,
when you're
use the
hiring, it's like,
products.
do you know about this? Oh man, your first commercial, you guys did this. It's like, okay, yeah, you're in. You're in the cool club.
Yeah. And so the first time I applied, it didn't work out. They hired somebody locally, and so I just kept in touch with Trey about different positions they had come up, and then it came up again, customer service, and he flew me in, we talked, and then started there. And I think, that was one of the first real business lessons I learned was from Trey, was about setting expectations. So he says, you know what? We don't normally hire customer service guys that have mechanical engineering degrees because, they're a little more expensive, but I'm going to trust in you, and you're going to be the leader of the customer service team one day. And that's the role that when we hire you, you need to grow into. And that was something that I did grow into.
You took it seriously.
Yeah, definitely.
You just wanted into the door. You're
Yeah.
the best kind.
Oh yeah, you got to get your foot in
oh,
there.
God.
And then when
and
you're
the ones
in,
that don't care, that it's like, I mean, I'm just sweeping right now, but someday, I mean, I'm going to make sure that the sweep is the best.
yeah, you got to have a little hustle and you got to have a little luck.
Yeah.
And it depends on what's your ROI on luck. So I got lucky that Cobb's hiring customer service, that I was flexible enough to move there. And then when I got in there, I took full advantage of it. And that's what you have to be able to do.
We have a guy here that was found working for a door-to-door like security system salesman. And one of our guys was like, "Do you like doing this?" And he was like, "Nah, not really." He was like, "Why don't you come down and check us out?" So he started in the warehouse. After like 3 weeks in the warehouse, he's like, "This motherfucker's smart." We move him into a different position. He fucking kills that. We move him up. We teach him how to take fucking product photos. Then we fucking move him. Now he's running the fucking brain trust of the like the day-to-day fucking data that's coming in. This guy is managing that, like, because he just keeps getting better and better and better. And it's like, we keep plugging him in, like, you know. He keeps showing up earlier than me all the time, and I'm like, "Oh, you motherfucker!" And I keep going, "Oh, I'm gonna get him this time. 6, there's no way." And sure as shit, he's in there making coffee. Fuck you.
Yeah, so I started in customer service, and now I oversee sales, marketing, customer service. Other customer service guys now at Cobb do sales, calibration, other engineering, so reverse engineering kind of stuff. 2 of them are on the marketing team. And so customer
you have
service.
3 divisions.
We have quite a few.
No, you're
so
running
what
3
I
divisions.
kind of oversee, yeah.
Yeah.
And so, you know, customer service is an amazing place for anywhere because you're going to learn everything about the product and you know what the customer wants about the product.
Yeah.
And so those guys are super valuable to our company where we can plug them in at other places and they instantly know everything about all the products and they're benefiting. You know, the rest.
I
of the
imagine your customer service has got to be so much more robust than ours because there's not much you can fuck up with coffee. It's either, hey, the mug's broke, or it's the wrong bag or flavor. Like with you guys, it's like, oh, I don't know why it doesn't work.
Oh yeah.
Well, all right. So walk me through this. Oh yeah, when I did open it, it said it was for a different car, but I just figured it would work anyway.
Oh, that'd be the easiest.
So I jammed it in.
Yeah.
It's almost similar to a lot of firearms manufacturers. Like they get the craziest calls. This barrel didn't work. Well, that barrel's not for that gun.
Yeah. Sometimes I wish it was that easy. We get. I installed your stuff, and now my car doesn't run right. You know, and it's like, okay, this is gonna be a long call.
All right.
You know,
Ian's like, actually, our customer service reps all sit in lazy boys.
Yeah.
I installed it, doesn't work right. Awesome.
Yeah, we've had multiple calls that have been over an hour because you're just trying to fix some dude's car. You know, maybe it's a 200002 WRX. That's been, you know,
we're rolling right next door from here to the
times.
dyno. We're going to check on ours. Which I guess she's doing better now, right?
She is.
All right,
She's doing quite a bit better.
Exciting.
Those Fords are tricky.
Yeah,
they're tough.
I bet they are.
Yeah,
fucking bastards.
But it's going to be fun.
So marketing wise, like, what is your focus on on just general marketing? What are you trying to do with the brand?
So I think it's really similar to what you guys do. You're attacking a very specific niche.
A niche market.
Yeah. You're not converting people to love America and love coffee and love guns and love what you guys do. You're taking those people that already love that stuff and saying, hey, here's all the rad stuff we have.
Yeah, here's stuff that fits in your...
Yeah, and so at Cobb, we're not making people like modifying cars. If, you know, my mom is never going to modify her car. If somebody's not into it, they're not into it.
Yeah.
And we don't really want to talk to them about it because it's not going to be fun for anybody. And so when we're thinking about who we market to, it's people that already like cars, people that want to see really big gains. So that's why we specialize in turbo cars because you see really significant gains just with tuning.
It's gratification.
Yeah.
Although I honestly think like you guys have a very distinct opportunity to go after teenagers and kids. Like get them, develop a series of content and stuff like that shifts a kid's interests when he's 10 to 14 years old. Like show him, hey, this could be a hobby of yours because it's fun.
Yeah.
Like, and that would you could gear content to that. I see that as being a cool kind of way to say, let's create more customers in our niche.
Yeah, I think there's definitely an opportunity there. And so with the the whole tuning world is turning towards computers. How many times can you say that?
Oh God, I was watching. What's our guy's name here that tunes the car?
Oh, Ryan.
Oh God, that was a lot of tables.
Yeah, well, when he starts trying to explain stuff to you, it'll hurt your head.
To do with that, like, cool, change that number. I don't care.
Yeah, and so that's what all these guys are doing now. So if you're super into computers, you're going to be a good car tuner probably.
Nice.
And so, there's games that are really popular now, like Forza. Everybody's playing that. And so a lot of those guys, once they are able to get a cool car, we're able to help them with something that they're really familiar with, which is, a handheld device that's electronic, looks like an iPhone a little bit. And now I can make it really easy to tune the car. Like you saw all those tables that you see that he's changing, like that blows most people's minds. But if you can just press a couple buttons and do it, we can simplify it, or we can make it really complicated if you want it. And so we're helping all of those people do the same thing.
It's interesting when we sell them to older customers. They're putting their car on the track. A lot of these newer Subarus, you can't go in and open source tune them. You have to tune them with an access port. And you essentially sell this. It's a fairly expensive handheld tuning device. You sell it to them, and then you try to explain to them how to use it. And 9 times out of 10, they will leave it on that map and throw it in the glove box. Never look at it again.
No, I like what Ryan did. Before we left for Vegas, he gave me 2 maps, and one was an eco map, so it was cool because I've just been driving on that until I can't wait till he gives me the real power.
What are you getting fuel mileage wise on your eco map?
23, easy 23. So yeah, I mean it's pretty good.
It should do quite a bit better when it's dialed in.
Yeah. What's up?
You got a roof rack and everything too, right?
Yeah, and
so
the light bar
cool.
and stuff like that. So a little bit of drag.
Tiny bit.
Yeah, when you're talking about the marketing that we do also and the access port, we call that our gateway drug around the office. So you have to start with that. So every modern car, when you put modifications on it, you have to tune it.
Yeah.
It's just how they work. So, do we want to go through how an ECU?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's
this
do
is
it.
cool.
All right.
Like, I know we have some car guys out there. Shit,
Okay,
come
so
on.
we're going to try to keep it pretty basic, and if you're a real hardcore into it, you'll think
and
this
I know
is too
our
basic.
car guys out there are going to go, fuck, they got the guy from Cobb. I love Cobb.
Hopefully that's what they're saying. So
I mean, I see you guys. You guys are kind of the top of the line brand, though. Like,
that's what we try to be.
You go in anywhere. I mean, the only other person making a lot of parts for you is Montoon.
Yeah,
you guys have a better looking website.
So we supply an access port to them that they use for their devices. So we're a good partner with them.
Oh, nice.
But
and then Rally Sport Direct. I mean, they're a fucking great distributor.
They're super badass. Yeah, I'm gonna go see those guys tomorrow.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. So an ECU is essentially a whole bunch of tables, like Excel spreadsheets. And all of those tables talk to each other. So you might have one table that says load and boost, and then you're going to have another one that's boost and RPM, super basic examples. And so what we do at Cobb is first we get through the security on the ECU so we can see all of those tables. And then we spend time on the dyno and in specialized software seeing how all of those tables talk to each other. And then when we create our tuning software, what we're doing is labeling all those tables correctly and telling you how they talk to each other so that you can tune the car, so that you know what controls timing, what controls boost, what controls load. And then what we're able to do is make maps or calibrations that we can load onto the access port. And so we call those our off-the-shelf maps.
Yeah.
And then those are for very specific modification paths.
Like, so the first map that I ever got, because we had, the first time we went intake, intercooler, downpipe, exhaust, and then access port. So what was that map?
Well, so that would be their basic kind of you call it a stage 2 tune.
Yeah.
But all of that stuff is preloaded onto that access port to go with Cobb's products.
Oh, so you just tell it what Cobb products you have on there.
Well, it's
all
maps
Cobb.
already.
It's all Cobb.
It's maps already set up for that, so it knows. I mean, you've got different maps that you can flash onto it for what products you have, but once you get past Cobb products or anything they support for it, that's when you have to physically tune and create a different map that allows for the other parts that Cobb didn't create those maps for.
Exactly. And so that's where shops like Despain and all of our pro tuners around the world, they're able to use that software we make to make those custom maps so that you can tune for any modification level you want.
That's super cool. And
Yeah.
now I imagine your guys' office has to be fun because you got a dyno in there, right?
Yeah, so we
You
got a
have people
dyno.
constantly in there just playing, just in there experimenting.
Yeah, so dyno's in use every day almost, the
That's
entire
awesome.
day. The shop is super fun. So you got to have arcade machines to be cool. And ours are all custom that we've built. We got engineers making that stuff.
Now, when you get down to this, is it more majority trial and error, or is there a science to it at the point where some of your more expert tuners they know what correlates with what, so they got a starting point. Now they're going to start playing
Yeah, so
and getting creative. Is it an art? Is it a science? Is it math?
it's definitely some of
All
both.
of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on the reverse engineering side, so how we discover all of those tables, what you're doing is essentially putting a car on a dyno, changing one of those tables and seeing what happens and saying, oh, that does that.
Oh, whoa.
Oh. And so then we, just do that process over and over and over. And sometimes it's kind of the same between makes. So like the Nissan GTR ECU in some ways is similar to a Subaru one. Whereas the German cars all kind of tune the same. They have the same kind of strategies. And so when we tackle a new Porsche model, we have an idea of where those tables are going to be and how they're going to interact.
Okay.
And then on the tuning side, once you have all those tables, it's a lot of math. So I, ram timing up until MBT, and then I add boost until, I stop making power kind of thing. Or has
there ever been a moment since the day you worked there that was like a cheering breakthrough, like, oh my God, everybody come see this?
Oh, yeah. So
I want to hear about that day.
so that happens all the time. So, all right. So the coolest new cars are the Macans, the Porsche Macan. So it's the little 4-door SUV.
Uh-huh.
That thing is insane. So it's
I think I just saw something released from you that you guys
yeah.
came out with a torque map for it that puts it over 500
So we,
pounds.
like not even 2 weeks ago, the guys were on the dyno with the car, and they're like, oh yeah, I just found this new table. We can now make 100 more pound-feet of torque than the previous OTS map. And it is,
come here! Everybody come here! Look what I did!
yeah. And so that dyno sheet is getting passed around the office so fast. And everybody's like, take me for a ride, take me for a ride.
No!
That
And
one
that
guy's
car-
like, look what I did.
Oh, yeah. And that car pulls like a freight train.
Yeah.
Like, it is insane.
That is too cool.
Yeah. And, that same, so the Macan, so we have a whole bunch of shop cars because we don't want to do R&D on random people's cars.
Yeah.
So we have a yearly track day at Cobb.
Yeah.
And we loaded up 5 people in the Macan and just went out on the track and tore it up. And that thing was running not even 2 seconds slower than my Golf R with suspension and tuning and everything. That's like, it was crazy how good
You
that
have a
car
Ford
is.
too, don't you?
I did. I
Oh,
had a
you did?
Fiesta ST.
Okay,
And now I have
yeah.
the Golf R.
All right. All
So-
right. Does the shop have an RS?
We do.
Lucky.
It's pretty cool.
What's that thing making?
Oh, I don't know right now.
Oh, he knows. He's nuts.
Yeah, we're it's all almost every 4-cylinder turbo car these days is a little over 300 wheel and 300 like 60 pound-feet of torque.
I hope
or
I get there
something.
today.
You'll
Well,
get
I
there.
mean,
I wanna click 300.
you were there. You want over 3.
I did?
You want over 350.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, before you left for Vegas, you
Oh
made
shit! I didn't see
320.
that. I don't remember that. I thought it said 280.
No.
I was wondering. I was like, wait a minute. We got this big turbo, and I only
What did I
increased
spend all this
horsepower
money
by
for?
17.
What are those assholes doing?
But I mean, it's fun. That limited slip differential, that thing, that's fun.
That is
That's
a
pretty
cool upgrade.
important for
Yeah.
those front-wheel drive torque
it
monsters.
makes all the difference, man.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
super different. Like, although coming home from Vegas in the snow was sketchy as fuck.
Yeah,
That
I
was
could
scary.
imagine in a front wheel drive
Driving
car.
home,
Oh, yeah.
and we hit bad highway snow. I was just like,
Do you have snow tires on it?
I do.
But it's still,
But
you get
it's
that
still,
torque
yeah.
bump and you're,
Oh God, yeah. As soon as it like and that car is so stiff from the motor mounts and the fucking sway
Well, and
bars
then
and
the
everything.
rear
It's
of
like
it weighs nothing.
You do just a little turning and it goes ah.
Yeah, the Focus, that rear end just loves to come around on it
I
too.
think I'm the only one with an ST and a hydraulic e-brake.
You might. Well, I think they have them at what's that? Where they do it over in Salt Lake at the track. They had the training stuff for Ford. I thought all
Yeah.
those were rigged up. I think.
Are they? Damn it! I wanted to be the only one.
We're top 5.
I mean, they did.
Top 5 for sure.
I'm sure a lot of people are like, "Why'd you put a fucking hydro brake in a front-wheel drive car?" Because
I can.
Because Bucky Lasik told me specifically, you should have a hydro brake in everything.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I was just taking that advice to heart.
And it makes for better videos too.
It does, and it looks cool.
Yeah.
People are like, I had a guy get in and goes, "Oh my God, is that NOS?" Like, it's a goddamn handle. What the fuck is NOS?
Yeah,
in your
I
head?
rip on this thing and it just kicks in.
And now he calls it my slide bar.
Well, if Bucky told you that, why aren't we putting that on the Jeep?
I don't know. We'll roll the Jeep.
Oh, yeah.
I want to get a Can-Am Maverick 3 and put one in there because that would just be fun. See, I'm contemplating. I'm kind of torn, and I don't know. It seems like I walk in September to get an RS, and it was literally I wanted to have it completed in October for Freedom Fest because we had a giant venue. We were putting on a rock show with All That Remains and Atreyu and all these people. I want to have that car right in the center. So I'm like, you know, buy this RS. I'm going to throw all this money into it. We're going to get a graphics wrap and everything. And I walk in there and they're like, no, it's an 8-month waiting list for an RS.
RS has been insane to get.
And then I was like, what else do you have then? And they're like, well, look at this ST. I was like, ooh, well, I mean, it's turbo. It looks pretty good. The interior is awesome. All right, we'll do that one. No more than 2 weeks later, the Ford dealership right next to our building. Three RSs.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, yeah. I was like, I go into the showroom because I drop the car off after I get the wrap and put about $15,000 into the thing. Because I ended up going to my tax guy, and I had expected to pay much more, and he came back, and he was like, no, you're good at this point. I was like, I have free money. I mean, this was going to taxes anyway. It might as well go to Spain. So yeah. I walk in to get the oil changed, and they have that showroom RS, and I was like, is this spoken for? And they're like, oh, no. We got 2 more out in the lot, too.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I fucking hate you guys.
Well, so the Ford Raptor, the new one's been the same way. All these people are waiting months and months, and they're just showing up on lots. They're getting a $30,000 markup, but
Oh, God.
so it's just kind of weird how they do that.
Even
lot,
now,
but-
I've seen Ford called me the other day and said, hey, we just had one come in with 500 miles. You want it? Like, and they had priced it super low. I think they wanted 40.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh, shit. I was kind of thinking about it. Like, who do I want to start over? I mean, and that's where I'm torn now. Do I go in RS next, or do I just get a Can-Am Maverick and play in the dirt and not get in trouble?
So you play in the dirt.
The dirt's fun.
So what do you guys have planned for 2017, Ian?
So 2017, we just released the Mark 7 GTI support. So we have 15, 16 ready now. So that's Volkswagen. We're going to do the Golf R 2017 GTI. So Volkswagen's going to be a pretty cool platform. They have never had a handheld tuning device.
No kidding.
And they've never had
and it's
really
a very
custom
popular,
tuning.
The Golfs are super popular to modify.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you only buy a Golf to modify. I remember when the R33 came out. That was pretty cool. All-wheel drive.
For the R32.
R32.
Yeah, so those are pretty awesome.
Integrated engineering here in Salt Lake, they do a lot of Volkswagen stuff, and I think when you guys release that, I think that hurt some feelings pretty bad.
Yeah, there were some people not super excited about it because they, I think when you don't have custom tuning and people can't see what's inside the ECU, there's some kind of, special magic about it, and it's a super complicated and complex ECU, and it's German, so it's better kind of mentality. And so when we're able to show everybody, what the cars are capable of and custom tuning, I think it's going to be pretty cool. It's, anytime you go into a market where there's already a competitor is going to be a little tough.
Right.
And you're going to build up your reputation, but I'm pretty confident we're going to get there pretty quick. So those cars are fun. We have, a majority of our business, over 50% of our business is still Subaru. But now that we have Mark 7 GTI support, we probably have more Volkswagens in the parking lot than Subarus.
So how quick are you guys to jump on the new models, like the 2017 STIs? Like, are you guys already just in there Frankensteining? Like,
yeah. So 2017 STIs came out the end of last year,
Yep.
and so we've already been in there and supported them.
Nice.
And so when the cars don't change from model year to model year, we can get support pretty quick in general. And so when 2018 STIs come out later this year, they'll have a few tweaks. They'll have a couple new built-in features like eyesight that has the adaptive cruise control.
Oh, wow.
And so
That's pretty cool.
yeah, so as soon as those land in the ports,
yeah,
my Golf R has it and it's awesome, and I'll never drive a car without it again.
You have to teach me how to do the valet feature.
Oh yeah.
Because that's just cool to me. Because if I'm ever leaving this thing here, because some of the guys are like, oh yeah, leave your keys. Like,
so on the Ford, you can set that up with the steering wheel controls.
that's what
So you can
Ryan
just
did
toggle
for me.
through it,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I need to do one where it won't go
It's
over
super rad.
3,000 RPMs. Like, oh yeah, leave the keys. The fuck wrong with this thing?
Where's his access port? We're changing this.
Well, I like to keep my access port in there because I like the gauges. I like to know what my charge pipe temperature is. It makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Come
And if
on.
somebody gets in the car and they don't know any
Yeah,
better,
they're like, God,
they're
this
like,
is a
oh,
fighter
you're
jet.
smart.
Like, and I got my cell phone mounted on the other side, and then the flat screen, and the thing. I look like it's the fucking space shuttle, Brandon.
That's good.
All right, Ian, where can people find you at? Like,
So you got to go to cobbtuning.com,
Cobbtuning.
check out all the cool stuff.
for all our guys out there that are modifying cars, start with Cobb.
Facebook.com/cobbtuning,
Cobb everything.
Instagram, Cobb Tuning on Instagram. I'm Ian at Cobb on
You're
Instagram.
Ian_Cobb.
No, just Ian at Cobb
What?
on
No,
Cobb on Instagram.
no, on Instagram I had to. Yeah, oh, yeah, you are Ian at Cobb.
No, maybe you're following the fake Ian.
No,
at
I
Cobb.
found you.
Okay.
I did. I thought I had to type in Ian_Cobb to get you in there.
All right. Yeah. So
But-
Ian at Cobb on Instagram is mine, and then we have a Cobb Tuning Instagram. Try to post more kind of cool insider stuff that you wouldn't normally see. I post a lot of the R&D
I love
projects
watching.
we do.
I mean, I really do get a kick out of both yours and the Cobb's. Like, and I check it every day just to see
Yeah.
what else.
When we print like cool 3D stuff on our 3D printer, I'm
Oh,
like, that's
yeah.
cool. Let's take a picture of that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's a special project I'll tell you about later that Bucky's working on that's really cool, and you guys are going to like it.
all right, that's good.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, for BlackRifle, this is Brandon, Ian, and JT. We are out.
BlackRifle Coffee Company, along with Arson Wave, would like to thank you for tuning in to Blackhearted. Have a great fucking day.